And good afternoon, Warrior fans, and welcome out to a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Buffalo Wild Wings. I am Doug Gann, alongside of head coach of the Grace Christian Warriors, Josh Brown. And, Coach, good to be back to baseball. I know last weekend we weren't able to come in and do the show because the flu bug got a lot of you guys, but here we are. We're back at it.
Yeah, glad to be back.
And then the rain got you Monday, so it was a shortened week for you.
Yeah, it got us Monday. It got us Friday.
Right.
We missed out on the Opelousas Catholic game, and then we got back at it on Saturday against Mamu.
Right. So go back to the game from Tuesday night. We talked about it. That was a game that you guys went 10-0 in that one. But you and I talked post game and thought that it should have been. It had the opportunity to one of those. You never take any team out there for granted whatsoever, but one that maybe shouldn't have went 6 innings.
No, not at all. I mean, we look back at a play after the ball game. If they make a catch at first base, it's 3-0 probably going in the 6th inning. And,
right.
I just thought we were not very focused on the offensive end. We had opportunities to put the game away, leaving a lot of men on base. Just didn't come through in the clutch when we need to, and it's kind of been our story the last couple of weeks. We've been leaving a lot of runners on base.
And then we've noticed that, gosh, going back to the 2 or 3 games that we've been able to do out there, the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and the good news, you got a lot of runners on base. The bad news is you left the bases loaded a good number of times.
Correct. That was huge for us to get it going because we were getting a good outing out of the pen from Canyon, who struck out 7, only walked 1. It's been the story. Our pitching staff's given us an opportunity. They've gotten in trouble a couple times walking a few people, but for the most part, they've been pretty good all season.
We talked to Seth. You talk about the strikeouts and all of that. Tell me about the performance from Seth Cook on Tuesday.
Man, that was a great outing. 15 strikeouts.
Struck out 11 of his first 12 that he faced, and the first 9 batters.
Correct. And, it's been a process with him. We've slowly worked him in, bullpen stuff. Didn't want to rush him back this year. We kind of were waiting for him whenever he was ready. And that's a good thing about our staff. We got 5 pretty good kids that can throw the ball, and then we got a bullpen that's pretty good. So
you go back to a couple of years ago, and we'll talk about that just a little bit, where you had a guy that you'd have to watch him a little bit because you're going to have to use him again on Thursday. And back when your Tuesday, Thursday matchups are there and you had some rest, so you're having to piecemeal one pitcher through the week.
Yeah, it's a lot different now, which we're excited about because realistically we can go throw a guy and be able to rest him, for next week if we want to be. And I think it's only going to make us stronger throughout the season doing it that way. Yes, you're right. In the past, we threw a kid Tuesday, and we were hoping we could shut him down so he can maybe close it out on Thursday,
right.
And that's not the case now. Now we're more set up where we got some guys who can go close the game out if need be. Even though we threw a kid, 85, 100 pitches on Tuesday, we're not going to probably bring him back. And, for the most part, it's a lot better that way.
It does, and it seems to give them that strength as they make their way down into the playoffs and make that run towards another state title in there. But there's a lot of baseball to be played before now and then as we get ready for district season. Now, it starts out Tuesday, Thursday this week where you have Harrisonburg. Now, there are some, you ever remember, too, in the past that you might have one non-district game sprinkled in. Looks like you still play a lot of non-district games during the district slate. Tell me about that.
Yeah, there's a couple of teams in our district. They just don't play a whole lot of games early, so it's kind of a concern. You don't really want to play an example, a Country Day team that might be 1-2 right now, only played 3 games.
Right.
And, you're not going to get a whole lot of points by playing those guys. I think Harrisonburg's 4-4, but that's the reason why we do it, and we want to see some pitching, continue to see some pitching because, we know Voice Charter is going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with, and that's really the main reason because we don't want to get in a situation where a team's not playing a whole lot or they get rained out and we see them in a couple weeks and, they only got 2 wins, it really does us no good.
Right, and then you don't know what you have going on. All right, as we do get ready to start the district slate, again, it opens up with Harrisonburg. We'll talk about them in just a moment. I want you to look back and reflect on the first portion of the season, these non-district games and tournaments, how your growth has been. What are some things that you've done well, and what are some things that you have to work on to get ready for district?
Pitching's been a plus. Been a little bit disappointed, like I said, in the Oberlin tournament with some guys working behind in leading the team in the batting average right now, and he's kind of got a quiet bat. He's batting around 460. He's been doing some good things with the stick. And then Cody yesterday got it going with a big bases clearing double. That was huge. And
I know that's got to do a lot for his mindset because you could see his approach in the plate. He's got a good swing, but I don't think he's got that Cody Davis swagger.
Correct. And we had a long talk the other day. We feel like that him, Canyon, and Seth, they really have to grind their at-bats. They have to be very selective. A lot of people know them. They're going to pitch around them to try to get to those younger guys, and they have to just be more patient at the plate and be very selective. And Maddox I was really pleased with him the last 2 weeks. He has done really well. I think he's got 6 hits in the last 2 weeks and really gotten it going. So now if we can get those other guys going, it's only going to make us better. Wells kid at the bottom's doing a great job. He's getting us some hits here and there.
And you've always had the history of that, having somebody down in the 8 or 9 spot that works as like a second leadoff type of position till you get somebody that can get on base ahead of the top of that lineup and do some things rather than have somebody that, okay, we're just going to pitch around and get to the 9th batter and it's going to be an out. That's not been the case.
Correct. And, we're just trying to find the chemistry, which batting order we like right now. I mean, that's really the biggest thing for us is trying to set it up for district. And I'm like, man, district's already here. Golly. This is the earliest we've ever had a district start this early.
It's got. I just wondered if the season was just going fast, but it looks like you do. Now, what caused that to happen?
Well, we didn't want in the back end where you're raining out and then you have to sit there and squeeze these games in,
right,
and you don't have many days to do it. So that's part of the reason. That's why you see Westlake and West Ouachita at the end of the schedule. And again, we like doing that because getting ready for the playoffs, you want to see those kind of teams.
Well, I just know there's always been that mad scramble towards the last week of the season to go pick up an extra game. And I think, 32 that you can play in a season?
34.
34 that you can play. And how many do you have scheduled? Where would that fall now with your rainouts that are on here in your season? What do you guys have?
We plan on making up the one game that we lost Delcom.
Right.
Opelousas Catholic, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. That was a tournament game. We looked at some dates. I'm not sure if that's going to work out. We would like to play it because they're a quality ball club. Just not sure. It was like me and Northwood Shreveport coach were talking this morning. It's hard cramming all these games in because there's not many days. People are trying to play them because of power rankings, but you also got to think, okay, I can't go play 6 or 7 in a week. That's not going to be good for your staff or your team there. But we're going to try to keep playing as many as possible, but we're not going to kill our kids either.
And they've still not went to the playoff scenario where it's the 2 out of 3.
No.
Even though it looks that on the bracket every year, but it's never that way. Is that good or bad? I know the idea behind it is that in B and C baseball or Division 5, Division 4, you don't have the arms to go out there and do a 2 out of 3 and a 2 out of 3 and a 2 out of 3, but it's a good indicator. You know, on one day, I think anybody can beat anybody.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the 2 out of 3. I'd like to see it. I mean, these coaches that tell me they don't have enough arms, I don't really understand that. I mean, if you're with a program, you can develop these guys, and that's what we've done over a course of time. We have enough arms. I feel like we could play anybody in a 2 out of 3 series
right.
and come out on top because of our arms. But, you know, now it's single elimination. You better go get after it.
You got to go get it. That's right, and that's where having the arms will bode well for you. Take me through defense. It looks like you've moved some folks around a lot, trying to just get that group of 9 out there. And of course, it does rotate around some depending who's on the hill, because it's not like your 4 or 5 pitchers are in the dugout and not playing. They're out there on the field. So tell me your thoughts defensively.
Well, we got Maddox still patrolling shortstop. He's doing a good job there. Biggest thing, we've had to find out who's going to back him up. We've worked the Amon kid there, Jacob, backing him up. Him and Cooper's been working. So one of those guys will back him up. Right now it looks like Jacob.
And Jacob's the one that makes that diving catch out in left field the other night, too. Those young guys are playing some defensive games.
Correct. Outfield, we got Logan is in center field. When he's pitching, we've got Cooper there. Then we got Talon in left and Wells in right. We really wanted to give Jacob some time possibly last week, and it just didn't work out that way.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, these outfielders really haven't done anything wrong. A couple of them's really gotten us going for us. If it wasn't for them, we might have not scored a few more runs lately. And then in at second, Jack needed a day off, and I thought that did him some good. He came back this week, had 3 hits, made a great play yesterday at third base, and then we got Cody, doing a great job behind the plate.
Look, he has been as solid back there as you'll find without a doubt. Coach, we're going to take our first break of the night. When we come back, we'll grab a couple of the players and we'll see what's going on with those guys throughout the season and get ready to go. We are here on Sunday night. Sunday night means it is Buffalo Wild Wings. And look, they had a great crowd in here last night. They had the UFC fights on up here, and I had a buddy of mine that came by here too, said it was standing room only in the place on there too. So a great weekend. The area we're at is full. It's going to continue to fill up throughout the evening as we'll be here throughout the night. We're going to step away right now. We'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk to some of the Warrior players, and we'll do all of that here from Buffalo Wild Wings on a Sunday night.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investments.
Two up here.
Bring a couple of them up here, yeah. Gremlins are starting to work their way in. I don't wonder if that's what the G is for. Don't feed them after midnight or whatever it was. Isn't that one, the Gremlins, that you have that problem? Things playing all kinds of chaos with us here, but we'll get a couple of guys under the headsets with us too here, Coach, and make sure that Chuck may switch over to that other camera there and get everybody on there. There we go. Coach, go ahead and introduce the guys for us here.
We got.
Hang on, mute that, yeah, till he gets that on. And you may have to pull him down some.
We got Braden Wells, right fielder, and shortstop Maddox.
So we talked defense a little bit earlier on there too, and that's been definitely, Chuck, that's okay. Bring my headset down just a little bit if you can. On the number 1. There you go. Boy, nothing like a little live event here to get things going. See, it's the flu. It's got our system too on there. I think that's what happened on there too. So we talked defensively out there, of course, right field, shortstop on there. Tell me about how much dedication, how much work you guys put in defensively on there.
I mean, we it's every day at practice, putting in the work as much as we can. And it takes the extra work. It's not just at practice, it's staying after, getting in the extra reps, trying to get it perfected, So, a bunch of extra work.
Maddox, tell me too, we've saw you solid last year as well, and you've come out doing that again this year too. And I think we had several conversations last year and the progression that you've made is solid. What do you see different in your game this year versus last year?
Just the coaches, working with us every day at practice, after practice, the drills. Like bringing in Coach Lynn this year, he's helped me a lot in the infield at shortstop. It's helping me a lot,
You guys have been up and down with the hitting a little bit, and left some base runners on base this year. We've talked about that too a lot with Coach Brown. What do you take into your daily approach, both of you, and ask you this too, about putting the bat on the ball and about getting some of the clutch hits?
I mean, it's just a matter of your mindset, going up there, not trying to do too much, just trying to get on base, not trying to, put a ball out every at bat or trying to hit a double. It's just a matter of walking or, working a good at bat, get the pitcher's count up. It's not always about, home runs or doubles or the big hit. It's just a matter of doing what's good for the situation.
That's right. And Maddox, you've been solid the last few games on there. Tell me what's changed over from the first of the season.
Just not trying to do too much, like Will said, be aware of the situation, what you can do to control the situation, like not a home run, just a base hit, and yeah.
And that's what these early season games are for. It's to get into that rhythm and get the experience. I know you guys have had just a ton of at-bats through the years, too, on there. So, and it is contagious. When you see the other guys in the lineup that are hitting, then you're able to come in and do some of that yourself. Right. Braden, out of the 9-hole where you've been hitting a lot on there, too, we talked to Coach Brown about that as well. Well, 6, 7, 8, 9 have stepped up and done some stuff. Tell me about the mindset going into it, from that second half of the lineup.
At the bottom of the lineup, we're not trying to do too much. It's just a matter of putting the ball in play, moving a runner over, just trying to get it back to the top of your order, your older guys, so they can come up there and do what we know they can do. It's getting a runner on base, giving them an RBI opportunity. It's a matter of getting on.
Look, it's so weird that you talk about the older guys on there, and there's guys younger than you that are out there too. You're kind of stuck in the middle where it's just that middle child and just going out there and doing your thing on there. So I got in trouble, and I have to bring it up. I didn't get in trouble. I just got chastised a little bit from the ball that I said was out of play the other night, and you go sliding over there and catch that ball. Did you go back and watch that? So so I apologize to you for that one.
Good.
And in the game after that too, I said, look, I don't care where that ball lands until Braden doesn't have a chance to catch it. Then we're gonna do that. Coach, tell me what you think about their progression over the last year.
Oh, it's been huge. I mean, I've seen a big difference. I mean, Maddox comes in, as a guy's played outfield. We want him to play infield because we knew he could be the quarterback in the middle, so he's been huge. And Wells is just now coming along. I feel like he is really a guy that can play anywhere in the outfield, and he's more comfortable. I think that only helps his bat, to be honest with you. Yesterday we played Mamo. The bottom of the order gets it going.
Right.
They got it started yesterday. Cody comes up. If they don't get on, we don't have a bases clearing double. So again, we got to have those guys set the tone. They've been huge, both of these kids. I mean, they're two of our best bunters as well on the team, and we got to, any way, shape, or form, they're going to help our team out.
Let's talk about that too, and I was going to talk to you about it in that segment last segment on there. One thing that I've seen that may not have been as solid as it has years past is 1 through 9 being able to bunt the ball on there too. What kind of work are you guys putting in? As he mentions, two of the better bunters on the team. What are you doing to do that?
Bunt game.
Tell me about that.
And those at practices, we take about 30 minutes. He splits us up into 2 teams.
Right.
Do bunting.
Are y'all on the same team or y'all on separate teams?
Same team
And
every
y'all
time.
win every time?
Every time.
No?
We do not win.
We usually lose.
Tell me about the game. What is it you do for that game? Because back in the old days, you'd have to bunt it into a quadrant, or you'd have to bunt it to a cone, or whatever you'd have to do. What are you guys doing in that?
So usually it's Coach King
Right.
pitching, and he has the bases are in, but it's like a normal approach, and just 1, 2, 3. If you get a third strike, you're out. But it has to be a bunt. It has to be fair.
Has to be bunted.
Yeah, we've got the bases at 70 foot.
Okay.
So we have infielders in. You can only bunt.
Right.
It's a bunt game. It's puts a lot of pressure on the defense. They got to make plays quick, and it puts a lot of pressure on the offense. But they got to bunt.
So the defense is working it as well. Then
Correct.
it's not just the offense. So you're
Correct.
playing against you throwing the guys out. Is that what you're doing
Yep.
on that too?
Right.
Wow, that's
So
interesting.
if it's 3 outs, we rotate. The
Okay.
next team goes. We play home and away. So a thing that we wanted to do, something to get our kids more involved bunting. We felt like it'd be fun, and we wanted to be better with it. I mean, we just played last week, and I know we had a couple of bunts that were huge. I know Brady McDaniel had a squeeze when he had been struggling.
Right.
It's got to be a weapon. Anytime we need it, it's got to be a weapon.
Indeed, it has. And in the game, he just went down the line having everybody bunt because he had missed a call. I don't know what the reason for it was. They'd missed a call or hadn't got the bunt down or whatever, but everybody in the lineup bunted on there too. It was like watching the old Little League World Series when those kids would just lay down the bunt on there. What kind of pride do you take in refining your game like that? I know, Maddox, we've talked about your progression from last year to this. Braden, the same thing. But working on those key elements of the game so that you are more of a well-rounded player.
It's the extra work in practice, working on the smaller things, not trying to, make yourself a much better player. You work small things and you slowly see it progress. You see it in games. You're getting better at certain small things. It's just piecing together small things as you go along.
Maddox will ask you the same thing too.
Just know, being a good, player to where your coach can count on you to do a lot of things, not just one, being a good player. And that way, your teammates can count on you to do certain stuff. That's what I'm saying.
What do you see in this year's team that says, you know what, our goal here is going to win district, and our goal is to go in deep into the playoffs? What makes this team a little bit different, besides leadership where he says, I got this? Look, it's like him calling a pop-up out there, too. Go ahead.
Leadership.
Right.
That's a big thing we had this year that we didn't have last year, in my opinion.
Who's stepping, who you calling? Who is that?
Not to know.
You
But
do,
me-
no,
me,
you do you. That's,
Cody, Seth, all the upperclassmen, I feel like,
Right.
and even Wells and some 8th graders, I think, are being very mature for their age.
Right.
Getting the team up when we need them to, getting the dugout, making them speaking all that, just getting involved in the game like we weren't last year.
That's one of the conversations you and I had early in the season last year too. I believe that for lack of a better word, just we're missing that dog. Just didn't have that in there too. And it's great to see that you're able to step up and say that, because you've got a mix of younger kids. You've got some veterans that have been out there doing it for a while, like Canyon, like Seth, like Cody, like those guys, Jack, who's doing it the last couple of years. But it's a steady mix. How have you guys been able to mesh that? Because you see these teams that are successful that have 7 or 8 seniors, or that have,
We know what they can do, and we trust in them, and we know that they have the heart and they have the want to be a good team, and we know that, we start 3 8th graders, but we're not worried about that,
How cool is it the time that you've spent with Cody and Seth and those guys that are doing that?
Just any team we play, I trust our 9 players all the time.
Right.
Cody, Seth had the experience, the veteran experience, but people like Brady or me, who it's only my 2nd year of varsity, Like, I trust all of us. Like, I don't care.
Security, already on it. Days when we had 4 or 5 years ago, out of their mouths than the coach that needs to tell those guys like it is sometimes and move past it. I mean, we talk about it over and over. You got to flush when a mistake happens.
Because visualize drills and workouts going.
Practice has been really good. I mean, to be honest with you, it brings me back to the 16, 17, 18 teams when we had 4 or 5 coaches and we were getting back after. We were not like that the last couple of years because it put a lot of pressure on me and one other guy, 2 guys to do things and jobs. Everybody's coming over at different times. It's kind of rough, but we said over the summer we were going to change the whole deal, and we did. And we do practice a lot different. A lot of it goes to the coaches have done a great job, but the players have really bought into what we're doing. You know, they have to buy into what we're doing, and they have to work their butt off. And, you know, we don't sit there and kind of stand around and keep going. I think last week we were probably a little slower than usual because you could tell everybody was kind of out of it. But hopefully we get back to where we were. And
Looking at Harrisonburg next week, and district play starts on there. There's going to be some games that are scattered in that are non-district games, but district is here, and you guys, you know, you have something to prove. You don't want to look ahead, but you see somebody down the road that is there. But you got to look at Harrisonburg this week. So give me your thoughts on starting district play.
I think, you know, go win every game possible. Like, I don't care who we play. Go play Barb, go play Harrisonburg. Just go win.
That's what I'm talking about. Braden?
I mean, we've played the bigger games, you know, to prepare for district, to prepare for later on in the year. So I think we're ready. I trust that we're ready, and I know that you can kind of look past smaller teams in district, but it's district play. You know, it's fair game.
You got somebody's going to upset somebody along the way. There's no doubt about that. And so you have to make sure that it's not you. Guys, we're going to take a break here. Maddox, Wells, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys for stopping by.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Coach, just a great group of guys that you have there. We'll do that. We'll take. I think we're going to try to take our next commercial break if I don't mess things up here. How about that, Chuck? We'll be back right after this. Oh, we're not going to be back after that one.
Time for our red, white, and cool summer event at Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Right now, you can save on a new energy saving system. No money down, 0% interest, and no payments till June 2024. Call Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing or visit us online.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
The fine folks at BK Distributors want to thank all the educators for weathering the storms, so to speak, through 2020 and beyond. Thank you for your dedication to our children. The end of the school year awards are now available. Any type of award, trophies, banners, plaques, they do it all at BK Distributors. So with school almost out, that means summer leagues are in full swing. New items, same great prices, and fast turnaround. BK Distributors, Highway 20 in East Pineville behind Arby's.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
And we are back. Buffalo Wild Wings on a Sunday evening. Boy, I tell you what, so Coach, we didn't do it for this segment. We've got a show coming up after this one. They're doing the Blazing Wings Challenge on there. We've got to work you into that, but I saw how you were on that hamburger challenge, and that didn't go so well. You were sweating. And so do you think you're up for the Blazing Wings? Probably
I'm
not.
gonna let Keen and Canyon handle that.
Right? So you mentioned that. Here's some of the blazing sauce. Look, this is just I can't do this to you, Coach, because you won't be able to function after that. But that's that blazing wing sauce. They said you can feel your mouth for about 4 seconds before it just goes numb completely, and they're going to do that. So we'll work through that season. But Coach, you talked about that you were dumping those duties off on. Is there with you too? Go ahead and introduce him.
Yes, Barrett King. Barrett was at Buckeye last year, and he's a guy that I coached travel ball 1 year, and then he played at Centenary for Coach Diaz, so kind of kept up with him, and glad to have him on board.
Coach Kane, what has your approach been with those pitchers? Because you do have a lot more pitchers here than normally would have. Maybe that's development. Maybe it's just a plethora of arms.
4 or 5 guys who would not normally throw. To have 12, 13 arms is phenomenal. Because you can turn to any guy, whether it be a matchup, starting, relief, closing. So many guys have so many roles. It's basically like a college staff, and I really love it. I feel blessed. I feel spoiled with it for my first, I guess, pitching coach role.
Right. Tell me, what brings you into this type of role? Give me a little background on you as a player in high school, then at Centenary, and what's got you ready for this?
Then after that, I went to Centenary for 2 years. While I was at Gina, I was just kind of an everything guy. I would come, I'd start games. I usually get the tougher roles, bigger teams, tougher teams. And then sometimes, if I was available, I'd come out of relief or close games. And then when I transferred to Centenary, or went to Centenary, I established the role of like a soft lefty, a matchup guy. And then I would get some full innings for JV games. We go play LSUE or Panola, TJC, different JUCOs like that. Varsity-wise, I'd come in for matchups, maybe throw to one guy, whether it be one pitch or 50 pitches. I have that one role.
Right.
And then I bought into that role. It wasn't a whole lot, but I loved it.
How do you bring kids into that role as well? Because not everybody's going to be the starter or the closer.
It takes time. It takes time for sure to get used to and to buy into it, because every kid wants to play. I don't understand. That's how I always was. I always wanted to play. I always wanted to dominate. But I think a lot of these kids are finally understanding some of their roles, whether it be hitting in a certain position or fielding in a certain position. Now pitching-wise, they're kind of getting their feet wet and understanding that they need to come in and pitch in this atmosphere, in this moment, with this count, with these many runners on. They're finally, I think, starting to get the hang of that.
I'm going to tell you, it was a big shock to me, who's been around the program for a long, long time, to see somebody besides Coach Brown go out there for a mound visit. That shows a lot of trust in what you do. Tell me about that.
It means a lot. Being honest, the first time I went out there for a mound visit, I didn't know what else to say. I just kind of, I just kind of go out there and joke with them, because I know that they might be nervous in the moment, but I'll joke with them, get them loose, but tell them the situation at hand. But it's been really surreal to have that amount of trust put into me, and hopefully I won't sabotage that trust or lose that trust.
Look, one of the things that is so much definitive of the game of baseball is that every pitcher has a different approach on the hill. You watch Seth the other night as he strikes out 15. Cody can't get him the ball back fast enough when he's out there. And you've got some other players that are just milking every bit of the clock that they can out of it too. So how do you juggle the different personalities there?
I kind of just let them do what they feel right. If they're in the groove like Seth is, like they're working, I won't tell them slow down.
Right.
If they start throwing balls or they start giving up hits and stuff, I'm like, all right, settle down, recollect yourself. But if they're in the moment right there and they're in a groove, I won't fool with them. I'll let them go, because baseball's a huge mental aspect. I think mentally it's more than physically. And if they're in that groove, I'm not going to take them out of it.
Right. Speaking of being in that groove, Talon Epnet joins us here too, and you've been in that groove yourself too. just the way you've been hitting the ball. We saw that doubleheader where you got your first 2 big times that you played in there, collected a number of hits that day, and it seemed to have propelled you to what you've done this year.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to get. Look, I saw you in the burger challenge last year. You ate you were explosive, so I'm going to need a little more out of you. Tell me how it's going this season. How you've grown this year from last year.
I think I've grown pretty well from last year. Now I can see the ball a lot more better than last year, and really I have been working out a lot more with my batting.
There you go. Coach, what do you see in Talon when you say, all right, we've got one of these young guys that are out there? And because, again, you look up and down the roster and there it is. Give me your thoughts on Talon and where he's at.
Yeah, Talon made the most of his opportunity and in that doubleheader in that tournament. Right. He hasn't been out of the lineup since. And, he's been huge. I mean, we were struggling after the week after that, and we felt like the only guy that was really having some good ABs in a row. And we decided, hey, let's move him up in the order at the Oberlin tournament because we were struggling a little bit there. And we haven't moved him out of the 2-hole since. So, it's been huge. The thing what it's doing, too, is allowing us to be able to separate Cody and Canyon, because the one thing I like is if you get Cody and Talon on and Wright can find a gap somewhere, those 2 guys are probably going to score with their speed. So we've kind of changed our approach there, leaving him up there because we feel like we're going to be better for it. And then we're not getting in the double play. We felt like we had McDaniel and Wright back-to-back. That was a double play waiting to happen. We wanted to split them up a little bit, and it's worked out good so far.
You're saying 3-4, there was a little different speed than 1-2. Is that what
absolutely.
That's what we're going to go with.
So, we had to do it. We needed something, a little spark, too, to get us going. And in that tournament, against Converse, we had left some runners on base. Him and Cody combined that day scored 5 runs, and I think they had like 4 stolen bases. So we're just a different lineup with those 2 at the top right now. And it provides Canyon to be that RBI guy.
How has your mindset changed, Talon, moving from the 9-hole or 8-hole up to 2?
It's been very good, really.
Right. You like that? You like being up there
yes,
in that
sir.
side? What is it like batting between Cody and batting in front of Canyon? You're going to see a lot of great pitches on there too, because they're trying to get you out and not wanting to get to Canyon. So you're seeing some pretty good pitches this year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
what do you think you still have to work on to improve your game?
Really, my base running and how I watch high balls.
Okay.
I've been struggling with those.
There you go. Well, Coach, good segment. You said we're going to bring up Canyon after this, too. Yep. But great work, Talon Nepnet. Coach Keene, looking forward to follow the work that you do. I think it's been a tremendous addition, not only with the pitching staff, but taking some of that work off of Coach Brown, too, and that's allowed some differences there. So great to finally have you on the show, and looking forward to having you guys both back here again.
Thank you.
There you go. We'll come back. We're going to wrap things up here in just a minute. We'll visit with Canyon Wright, and we'll see Coach who else.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
There we go. Much better when I put my microphone down. We are back here at Buffalo Wild Wings and getting ready to wrap up tonight's show. And, Coach, you got the...
I don't know about this. I didn't agree to this one.
but you went through...
And it's just a whole different person.
Tell me about the mix, and we've talked to several about that tonight, but tell me about the mix with, you got a couple of guys, 3 guys older than you that are out there that are senior leadership, but Maddox talked about the leadership difference this year versus last year. Do you see that? And is it just the seniors and juniors or some of the younger guys stepping up? What do you see?
It's definitely more than just juniors and seniors this year. It's a lot of guys contributing to being leaders. It's 8th graders, 9th graders, Cooper. We're all leading each other, all sticking together.
And that seems to me as something that has been missing. And you and I have talked before and after a lot of games, and that has seemed something Coach Brown talked about, that 16 year, that 17 year, that 18 year, you had those guys that were doing that. And I know that's a little bit before your time on there too, but down and the other one's picking them up. Who's that first guy that's going out there and saying, hey, come on, let's go to work?
It's usually not just one guy. There's 2 or 3 guys over there trying to pick him up, tell him keep his head up, don't look down, just go next play.
Coach, what do you, we've talked about, and Brady told me when I messed up on here, and I told him, I said, look, I won't do it. He said, just flush it. And this is coming from the 8th grade that's telling me to see that kind of vocal leadership on the field and off. How does that work?
I think Canyon and Cody and these older kids finally are stepping up to the role that they need to. And these other younger ones, they played a lot of baseball, and they finally, I think they understand. Canyon's been a great guy. He's worked his butt off, and usually he speaks, they listen. And anytime you got that, it's huge.
Another thing huge, Canyon, is the development of all of the arms that you guys have. Last year, you were pitching a lot more than you are this year. I think that's only going to bode well towards the end of the season on there, and there may not be.
We have a lot more guys that can come in, do a job, get out of there, and we don't have to put stress on me, Logan, Jack, Maddox. We don't have to stress any of our guys' arms anymore.
And then you get Cook, who comes out and throws 15 strikeouts the other day too, and so the sound of the ball hitting the mitt was solid on there. And I know that's got to give inspiration to everybody on there when you start seeing one of your guys that's going to be dependent on, just like you are, comes in there and does that.
Yes, sir.
What's the difference in your game that you've seen, besides maturity? What have you worked on physically that's changed with you from that freshman year, sophomore, now into your junior year?
Speed, defense, and offense. That's always been key things that I've been trying to work on.
Look, that's 3 huge things. I saw him out there stealing bases too.
Yeah, that's
out
right.
there too. That's good to see. And you can tell, Kenyon, that it's pride in your game is what it is, because some guys, quite frankly, wouldn't go out and work on it. They'd just do the things that they do well and wouldn't go work on it too. And so your dedication to the game has been there.
Yes, sir.
What are you hearing about it? I know, again, just your junior year, but these colleges start coming around here. I know you've got a lot of time, but you hearing from anybody yet?
No, sir. Not yet.
We'll get that. That's going to take care of itself pretty quick, without a doubt. What's your thoughts after high school?
Try to go to a college. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter anything. Just I want to go and play after high school.
Look, the beauty of baseball is you're going to have a spot if you could play at the 11th links before you hear about it as well. But Coach, how do you? I mean, you've got a pipeline to the next level in schools all around the place. I mean, you've got kids that are playing there right now too. So and there's another number of them that are going to continue on with that legacy too. So how do you prep these kids for that?
Yeah, I mean, there's guys we're talking to right now about Canyon. And Cody right now trying to take care of him. You know, he's got 4 or 5 schools looking at him. We just need to do it. We tell them if you want to do it, we're going to help you out. We say that every year, and we will. And the good thing I like about it, they're going to go get a college education, maybe get their feet wet 1 or 2 years, and then transfer over. I know Luke Johnson's doing that at Northeast Texas right now.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. That question was how he's doing.
He's doing well. You know, he's in the top 14. You know, they wound up cutting. They kept 35 kids. They wound up cutting like 20. They had 55-man roster at one time in the fall. They got it down to like 35. And about 3 weeks ago, we went to LSUE. LSUE's looking at Cody, so is National Park College.